Hello everyone, Thomas Runner here and welcome back to another league racing video on this channel. Today we are here, as you can see, for round number 2 of the PSGL Championship at Imola. One of my favourite tracks, especially on last year's game, had some good success, especially in qualifying. So as you can see here right now, the standings of the race before this. Here, I think is the latest you want to do. Got P4 in the end. Wasn't exactly ideal. Oh, you got killed. As you can just have a quick look at what the standings are like after the first rounds. You can already hear me sort of get confused. I see you as I wish Brendan good luck for his lap. You can hear me say I was a bit shocked while I was showing the visual standings. Zero clue where I'm going. Alvaro Carreton, unfortunately, is already out of qualifying. Not due to a quali ban, not because he's out of due to pace, but because of an incident with Wilson Hughes. In towards it's I don't know if it's Akron Marley or the corner before that. My Italian is very bad, so don't judge, please. As we start our Q1 lap, the first one, you can see there's a car very close to me. I believe it's Duncan Hoffland, as I have a quick look, indeed it is. And I was a bit confused, so I thought I blocked him. So was he on the lap? I was asking right here if he was on the lap or not. Getting very quick info from my engineer, Sebi, and he was telling me he was on the in lap, so that was good to know. So, turn 1 and 2, a bit scruffy, a bit cautious as well, because it's still a random track. The round 2 and round 1 were random tracks, and round 3 coming up in a few days. On my YouTube channel will be a track we have given a practice on. So today is a bit of a, we're getting used to it again. This track has not been done by a lot of these guys for a long time. You can see this lap in general has been very bad, and decided to back off straight away and let the guys through who were on the laps. You can see Brendan Lee goes to P1 provisionally as Otis Lawrence then takes it away. Goes into professional P1 in Q1. You can see Alpha now goes, I believe, into second place. So it's just ahead of Brandon Lee. And you can see we're starting our second lap now. Frederick Rasmussen now goes P1 with a .622. As you can see, actually Alpha Butcher invalidated this lap. So he wasn't actually ahead of Brendan. But yeah, in towards turn number 3, we're already .006 green. Make that a 10th now, as we are purple in the first sector with a .692 in the first sector, which is very solid, I think. Of course, we don't know what good sectors were coming into this, but I believe a .63 is pretty solid for Q1, especially knowing we've all not done the track for ages. You can see getting to the apex now, and yeah, 2.5 turns up in towards the chicane. Now you can see Wilson Hughes kind of distracting us there, but gets out of the way. And now Otis Lawrence as well, and Brendan Lee. Bit chaotic with traffic, but we managed to squeeze ourselves through into the last 2 corners now, into third gear, and then up to 4th for the exit. You can see getting a bit wrong, the line there on the exit. Otherwise it would have been a .5 mid, possibly. But it's still enough to go professional P1 by 5 hours, and that gets us through into Q2. You can see straight away on board with our first, and I would say last Q2 lap, because this lap actually was enough to get us through into the last part of qualifying. So on board for a lap around the Imola circuit. You can see in towards turn 1, braking between the 100 and the 50 meter boards, kissing the curves, I would say, not completely using the curves in turn 1, 2, then brake and turn just after 50 more, again getting the curves on the insides there, and that's a very good first sector, .549, and as you can remember, that is a 10.5 quicker than our Q1 lap. So it's been a very good start to this lap so far. You can see not really using all of the track, but I knew if I would just get this lap in, it would have already been enough to get us through. Not quite hitting the apex as I wanted. You can see washing a tiny bit wide, but still the minimum speed was good, and it's still purple in the second sector. A .78 split, which is 2 turns quicker right now than our Q1 lap. So we are on for a .3, possibly a .2 in the second part of qualifying. as we hopefully we can get this last part right, and now we absolutely nail it in the last corner. 5 tenths up compared to our U-Tron, and across the line it's gonna be a 1 minute 13.306, and that was once again enough to get us through into the last part of qualifying. In Q2, Brendan Lee went quickest, by the way, on also when I was doing my run by a 10th, so that was a very, very good lap from him. Definitely one of the most talented guys out there in terms of getting used to tracks, I would say. As we went out quite early, as you can see, I still had 9 minutes 30 left on the clock, and everybody knows that is very, very early. But everybody else is also on out laps. Why? Or actually on flying laps as well. And I will say why is there's rain coming at the end of qualifying, and I can already guarantee you it's going to be a bit tricky to get both laps in pretty quickly. 0.56 in the first sector, so not ideal compared to what we could have done in Q3. And 0.44 is definitely on the cards if you can get it to perfection, but nonetheless for a banker it is very, very solid. You can see right now taking way more risks in his second sector, using all of the track. Maybe a bit cautious entry there, but definitely getting a better exit than last time round. 0.731 split, so somehow we found a 10th in the second sector, getting on the power very, very nicely. And if we could just keep it calm, keep it collected in those last 2 corners, we should be on position of pole here. As you can see, using a bit too much curb on the first part, using a bit too less curb on the second part, but nonetheless still keeping the minimum speed up and across the line to do a 1 minute 13.185. At the time I didn't think it was going to be a provisional pole, but it was. Jan Altmaier and P2 believe only within half a tenth of what we did. So pressure is fully on for this final run. If we want to keep the pole position, you can see Duncan Hoffland has retired from the session, so that is a guaranteed P9 for us. Of course, we're not going to aim for a P9 or P8. We're going to be aiming for pole position there. So down towards turn number 1, braking very, very late, using the curb, both turn 1 and turn 2. Absolutely mashing the delta. You can see we're 1,000th green in towards the second part of sector 1, using a bit too much curb on the second part, which kind of outside of the car and still slower than our Q2 first sector. So again, not ideal. Could have definitely found at least half a tenth in the first sector. Absolutely throwing in the second part of the lap now. We need to take big risks if we want to have a good lap and a potential for pole position. You can see taking all the risks on the exit of Akron Raleigh, and a 0.643 split, which is at the moment a 10th clear of Fredrik Rasmussen's split. You can see getting a very, very good exit, and at the moment you can see with the delta we're a 10th up, so we're on 4.0 at this current moment in time. You can see Luke Smith kinda getting, I wouldn't say in a way, but a bit distracting, somehow getting time in the last corner by missing an apex, and across the line it's going to be a 13.078, and just waiting for the last people to cross the line. You can see Oda Thorns pitting at the end of his lap. Luke Smith also peeling in. Jan Altmaier, you can see right now it's starting to rain. Was on for a good lap, but due to the rain he couldn't quite get it together, and we absolutely nailed it with the timing of the rain straight away into the race. And as you can see, it's going to be a near full wet race. Going to be an intense this whole race, and yeah, I can already guarantee you it's going to be a fun one. So 5 red lights are on, and away we go. Struggling to get the traction and the power down, but eventually we get going, and Fredrik Rasmussen straight away on the attack. He's going to look for the outside line, but we brake super late, nearly losing the car, and Brendan Lee actually goes into the gravel. He's going to lose a few positions and drops, I believe, to P7 or P8 at this moment, so not an ideal start for our teammate. We are still absolutely struggling in these conditions, because you'll see throughout the race as well, our setup was very, very fast on the straights, but very slow in the corners. So that's going to be one key thing to keep in mind. I was already looking at Delta on the top left. You can see Freddy is 2 tenths back of us in a section where you shouldn't be 2 tenths back. You can see we have no confidence basically at this moment in time. We need to try and potentially get a gap in towards the tire chicane, because if we can just get a good run from this corner every time, I can see getting a pretty good run actually for once. 4 times back is Fredrik Rasmussen, but he's going to use a bit of his battery, and so is Jan Altmaier, to kind of put pressure on me in towards lap 2 of this race. You can see gap is shrinking to Fredrik Rasmussen. He's on very high wings compared to me, and he's going to burn his battery and trying to go for a move in towards turn 1. I was sort of confused by myself, because I thought Freddy was on absolutely no wing, because I thought I was completely draining my battery, but then I realized I just wasn't using it. So that was a bit of a rookie error there, but nonetheless still P2 in this train. Now we can actually sort of follow Fredrik Rasmussen on this lap, and being behind someone in these conditions is always very helpful. As you can see, Fredrik Rasmussen struggling the same amount that I was at the start of this race. It's just very hard when you've done no practice for all of us to get to grips in these conditions. You can see that is 100% the first warning for Fredrik Rasmussen. Gonna be crucial, of course, to knock our warnings around there, because it is quite easy to get them, and especially in these rainy conditions it is gonna be very tough to keep good pace, manage the tires, ERS, but also not get warnings all on the same time. You can see now Jan Altmaier using his battery, trying to get close to us into the last part of this racetrack. You can see moving on to lap 3 in just a moment, and it's going to be quite tough to keep the Dutchman behind us. Gonna try and go for a move here on Fredrik Rasmussen to see how good our friend speed is, and you can just see already we're gaining so much. Don't even need to use all of our battery in towards turn number 1. Gonna brake super late around the outside, giving him just about enough space, and we need to watch out now, because Jan Altmaier is gonna go for this pushback move in towards the beginning of sector 2 in just a moment in time. Jan Altmaier now behind us in towards the hairpin corner coming up, and he's gonna go for a move down the inside, and I wasn't planning to let him go at all, because I knew if Jarno gets past and he has a better sort of setup for these rainy conditions, and it's gonna be very hard to keep up with him. You can see going side by side throughout this whole section. Very nice battle between us there, and Jan Altmaier slots in between us, and yeah, very nice battle so far on track. Been a very fun opening few laps of this race. Still gonna be on ball for the rest of the lap, because something is again about to happen after these 2 corners. You can see the gap is only 4 tenths, but that gap is gonna keep shrinking between myself and I would say the whole top 5. My pace in these rainy conditions was not good. Of course, might be due to setups, but I don't think that was the main problem this race. Of course, it would help having a lower sort of downforce setup-ish, or a higher downforce setup, sorry, compared to a lower downforce. Eventually, Jan Altmaier went past us on the next lap, and we're gonna try and go for another move on him. You can see, once again, Jarno is using. I can confirm he is still using, but because of our sunlight speed, it is just absolutely no chance for Jarno to defend, and that was pretty much the case for this whole stint. I could just use my battery, save more battery throughout the lap, and just blast it on the main straight to just keep him behind, and that was the main advantage I had. Probably the only advantage I had in this race was the straight line speed. So it was very hard for Jarno to get a run on me in turn 1, for example, and also in this corner. Moving on to lap 14 already, nearly half distance of this race. We're gonna be pitting this lap for a undercut. Actually, we're not gonna undercut anybody, but we're still gonna do an undercut compared to these guys, because I want to cover off the guys, as you can see, entering the 3rd sector now. Hopefully, I was I think asking my engineer just a few moments in time if I was going to be ahead of that train. I think Alfie Butcher is leading that train at this current moment. Gonna be very tough, I can already tell you. It's gonna be very close. You can see now, they're full throttle already out of the last corner, and I'm still in the pit lane, still waiting to get going. And eventually we get going again, but it's gonna be very close if they're gonna be ahead or behind us. And you can see, it's actually Benson Bocconi, sorry, not Oppie Butcher. Only a second behind us, so the track was on point there. If we stayed out one more lap, we would have been, I would say, behind, if you can see on the minimap, the orange dot, like 5 cars back from us. I believe that's Otis Lawrence. We would have been in big trouble, because Jan Altmaier and Danny Beresne are now starting to peel away and going very long. You can see now the gap with Jan Altmaier, 7.2, 6.1 a lap later, and 3 laps later, only 3 seconds, and nothing really happened. Apart from this, Fredrik Rasmussen going past us.
I don't want to wait back.
Into turn 1, and I just did not want Jarno to catch us, because I knew he had so much fresher tyres than me. It was going to be very hard to keep him behind. Luckily for us, we have a guy ahead of us who is extremely fast, and especially this race, his pace deserves the win. But you'll see throughout this lap, nearly hitting Freddy actually. Track limits, that has been a big issue. You can see Duncan Hoffland already having a 3 seconds, and I believe another few cars in that train had 3 seconds as well. So there were a lot of people that jumped down and up the field throughout this race due to penalties towards the end. You can see once again Jan Altmaier gaining every corner and in towards the chicane. Fredrik Rasmussen cuts his corner, and I was just looking on the top of the screen the whole time for there, hoping that Freddy was gonna get a penalty, and he actually did get a 3-second penalty. Yeah, when I saw this, and of course by my reaction, I already realized it was just sitting behind Freddy, using him as a sort of a buffer to keep in slipstream, but at the same time, of course, I want to win on track. But in this championship, you can't really take too many risks if you want to have a good result. So on towards the last lap now. You can see Fredrik Rasmussen has, yeah, he's gone. He's absolutely gone, and his pace was astonishing, and deserved, of course, to win. But in towards the last sector now. We're green twice on this lap, even though our tyres are completely finished, and our ERS as well. It was starting to rain a lot less, and if we went 10 laps longer, we would have actually had a dry sort of sprint towards the end. But out of the final corner, you can see across the line we go, and we win PSGL round number 2 at Imola, and taking over the lead of the championship. So that is very good for the standings. Very happy about this result. Jan Altmaier actually beat Freddy by 8 thousandths of a second in the end, which is pretty crucial in this championship for myself and Jarno. Danny Resnay, the race winner, gets P5, quite far off the top 3. Me, Jarno, and Freddy pulled away from the rest of the field from the get-go. Of course, battling was involved. That, of course, wasn't only pace. We got quite lucky, and we got the win. Of course, P2 on track, both P1 after penalties, and we'll absolutely take it. So that's another 16 points added to a total championship. I got 8 points, I believe, for the first round. So 8 plus 16 is 24 points. We are on heading in towards round number 3 of Silverstone, and yeah, you can see the race result right now on screen. Me and Jan are getting a 1-2, Freddy P3, Luke Smith P4, Danny Wilson P5, Duncan Orfland, a very good result in P6 for him, Joni Tomola P7, Jet Norgrove P8, Alvaro Carlton P9, and Willis P10. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe, like always, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye, everybody.